What up, my people? After watching this video, you will be able to rewrite a quadratic function to find the vertex of its graph. Let's get it. Alright, so let's start with some vocabulary. Number one, we have completing the square. I've already completed a video on completing the square, so if you want to check that out to practice the basics, I would suggest it, and I'll link it above. Properties of 0. Anything minus itself is going to be equal to 0. And 0 plus or minus anything is going to be itself as well. And lastly, we need to know the vertex form of a quadratic function, which is going to be f of x, which is our y, equals a x minus h squared plus k. The vertex is going to be at h comma k. So here in our first example, we have write the quadratic function in the form of g of x is equal to a x minus h squared plus k, and then give the vertex of its graph. Here's the function. G of x is equal to negative 2x squared plus 20x minus 46. So to do this, we're going to first look at our first and second term. We're going to see that there's a relationship between them because there's a negative 2 in both of these. So if we factor that negative 2 out, we're left with x squared minus 10x. And all of that's going to be minus 46. The next step is to complete the square. This is going to be our square right here, and we need to complete it. So based on the video that I did before, we're going to take our b term, divide that by 2, and then square it. So our b term is negative 10. Take the negative 10, divide that by 2, and square it. And that will give us negative 5. Negative 5 squared is plus 25. So we have negative 2 x squared minus 10x plus 25, all in the parentheses. So we've completed the square right here, and we can rewrite that trinomial as a binomial. But before we do that, we need to look at the relationship. Remember, we are manipulating only one side of the equation, and we can't without affecting the left-hand side of the equation. So all that to say is because we're adding a positive 25 inside the parentheses, we're also going to be multiplying that positive 25 times the negative 2. So that's really going to be a negative 50 that we're adding to the left side of the equation. Since we can't add something to the left without adding it to the right, well, all we're going to do is get rid of it. How do we do that? By getting rid of it by adding a positive 50 to the left side as well, because a negative 50 plus a positive 50 equals 0. So I've really added nothing. So I have my negative 46 over here, and then I'm going to add 50. So now I can write my trinomial as a binomial. Remember, taking the b term, dividing it by 2, and that's going to be negative 5. So it's really going to be negative 2 x minus 5 quantity squared. And then we have negative 46 plus 50. That's going to be a positive 4. So that is going to be our vertex form of our graph. And we know that this is going to be our h, and that's our k, which is our vertex. So the vertex is going to be 5, 4. And that's it. For example number 2, we're going to do something similar as well. We have f of x is equal to negative 2x squared plus 12x minus 17. Again, we look at the relationship between the first two terms. We see that their coefficient is negative 2 over here and a positive 12. If I remove the negative 2, that's going to be negative 2 parentheses x squared minus 6x minus 17. I then complete the square. For that, take the b term, divide it by 2, and then square it. The b term divided by 2 is negative 6 divided by 2 squared. That's negative 3 squared, and that's going to be positive 9. So inside the parentheses, we have x squared minus 6x plus 9. Remember, we're going to be distributing that negative 2 to everything, so that's really a negative 18 So that means we need to add a positive 18 on the outside. Minus 17, and then we also have a plus 18, so that we keep the integrity of the equation. Now that we've done that, we can rewrite the trinomial as a binomial. So that's going to be negative 2. We take our b term again and divide it by 2, so that's going to be negative 3. So it's x minus 3 quantity squared. And then we have minus 17 plus 18 is really a plus 1. So now we have this rewritten in the vertex form of the graph. So f of x is equal to negative 2 x minus 3 squared plus 1. This is going to be our h, and this is going to be our k. So that means the vertex is going to be 3, 1. And that's it. All right, we're at that point. Here's a problem for you to try. Go ahead and pause the video and take a screenshot. There will be a link to the solution in the description. Please like if you understood the tutorial, and share and subscribe for more tutorials. Thank you so much for taking the time to invest in yourself in making a weakness a strength. Ashe.